What is up, YouTube? It's been a while. I was away. I was out of state for a little bit, dealing with some personal stuff. But I'm back, and like I said, I've been thinking about doing some different kinds of readings. So I'm still going to be doing the zodiac sign readings. But as some of you know, especially if you're part of my Patreon family, I'm going to be rolling out some content that's a little similar to what I do on Patreon in regards to more so going with the flow, doing some things that are more so what you need to hear than what the collective might be attached to, right? So stuff that's just going to help us progress, which is really awesome. So I wanted to just do a collective reading. I just want to have fun. I want to do a collective reading. I actually just did a Patreon weekly reading, and I really, really, really wanted to share it with YouTube. But I figured I would just do a completely separate one for YouTube because those are two different collective energies. So let's get into it. Let's do it. I'm going to do it the same way that I do my Patreon readings. So if you're used to my YouTube readings, I don't ever use Oracle decks on YouTube. So if you don't know how I read on Patreon, this is basically how I read on Patreon. It's going to be a lot of channeling. It's going to be a lot of Oracle decks as well as tarot. So you're getting literally a little bit of everything. I also do a lot of mentoring throughout these kinds of readings. So if you've been questioning whether or not to join Patreon, if that's a platform you want to be a part of, this will give you a little tidbit into kind of how I work on Patreon. Okay, so let's get into it. Channeling for the YouTube collective is way different than Patreon collective because the Patreon collective obviously is a lot smaller than the YouTube collective. The YouTube collective is like collective consciousness on a much larger scale. So, okay, so they're already telling me what tarot decks to use. I'm going to be using spellcasters most likely, but angels and ancestors. I guess we could do that. I was going to grab Animal Spirit, but I guess we'll do Angels and Ancestors. I don't use this deck often. I actually use this today. I used this today. I think it was a personal reading. I don't think I used it in the Patreon reading. Did I use it in the Patreon reading? I can't remember. I did so many readings today. Okay. Let's get into it. Let's see what's going on. For YouTube Collective. Show me what I most need to see for the collective. They're singing me that Christmas song. I don't know Christmas songs well, to be honest with you. Was it Holy Night? But it kind of feels, but they're also showing me the Pisces symbol, which it's very similar to the Patreon reading, actually. I didn't hear any Christmas songs in that, but it was a lot of watery energy, a lot of water, a lot of healing energy, like a lot of heartfelt energy. Let's see what we get. Show me what I most need to see for the collective, please, Spirit. That's your time capsule. Okay. Which makes a lot of sense. We have Uranus going retrograde in Taurus on, I want to say the 19th of this month. Yeah, protection guardian, drop your shields. Okay, yeah. This is about breaking down the barriers, breaking down the walls. When Uranus goes into Taurus for retrograde, it's going to be a very reflective period about all the changes that we've gone through. It's going to be this outpouring of emotions, this, I can breathe, I can relax, right? And I can finally reflect and actually understand and comprehend from a higher state of consciousness the things that have gone on, the things that have transpired, and I'm ready to accept. We're coming into this state of acceptance instead of this state of anger, this state of rejection, this state of why did this happen to me? We're getting to this state of this happened for me, to learn how to accept that things are going to change. things are going to shift. And that's okay, because it's helping me become stronger, wiser, more resilient, and move into a new cycle. So protection guardian, dropping the shields. This is the withering away of the old self, the old paradigm, right? A lot of distorted energy the collective's been working through since the end of December, beginning of January, when we had that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction going on. We're coming out of all that turbulent energy, all the changes we've been going through, dark night of the soul, all that jazz. And stepping into our new selves. Let's see. Okay, so they're talking about 2023. Saturn. What was it? So I'm not going to get too much into astrology, but basically the changes we've been going through are basically setting us up for success now through 2023, right? So 2021 is actually a little bit more turbulent, a little bit more scary than 2020. And 2022 is kind of like, okay, let's get our shit together. Let's get our ducks in a freaking row. Like, shit's been stirring up like crazy. We've been breaking away old selves. And then 2023 is going to be like, roar, I'm out of the damn cage. It's time to get the ball. You're probably like, really, it's going to take that long? It's not that it's going to take that long. Things are still going to be progressing. Things are still going to be bringing in abundance, and things are really moving forward now. It's just that 2023 is going to be like, I don't know. I do know, but I'm not one of those readers that's going to blow smoke up your ass. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I'm not a false hope giver. So we have elder in reverse, move beyond ancestral patterns. So like I said, the breaking away. This is old paradigms. This is imprinting, programming. Is the realization of, okay, so I have this limiting belief that I got from my parent, or I got from this relationship, or I was holding on to this attachment to XYZ, right? It's letting that fall away. It's throwing out the old rule book and rebuilding self. That's a shifting into, which is really nice. Okay, so now we're going into the shift. That's done. We're going to the next. Air Guardian, shift your perception. Like I said, we're going into the shift. Shift your perception. Literally says, shift your perception. Okay, so that's us going into the shift. And then we have Hermit, retreat and recharge. So the Hermit energy is the pulling back of self. I've now had I've had these aha moments about myself, and I don't really like this part of me, but I like this part of me. I don't really like this aspect, so I want to rework it. I don't want to completely throw it away. I just want to change it. I want to alter it, right? We're sifting through aspects of self to be remade anew, okay? Which is absolutely incredible. It's a thing to be proud of yourself for, to have that realization of, I don't like my attachment to expectations of people. But honestly, you shouldn't have expectations at all, right? Because we can't control other people, the response, the way they perceive us, things of that nature, any of it. So just get rid of them, right? Get rid of the caliber you hold yourself to. Exist in the present, right? Exist in the present. Love the present. Be grateful for the present. Be grateful for every experience, right? And just accept as things are. Be at peace with how things are. Be observant. Be mindful. And allow things to pass with ease. Just allow it to pass with ease. I know, much easier said than done, but okay. So it's the shift in perception, which is equivalent to the hangman, right? It's allowing yourself to step into this higher consciousness state of gratitude. Allow yourself to step into the higher heart, where you hold space for self, where you're giving yourself that compassion, where you're giving yourself that acceptance. And in turn, you're shifting into the collective consciousness. You're shifting into the state of accepting other people and understanding that their wounds are being projected and reflected as well, okay? It's a lot. It's a heavy read, which is why I felt the need to do this read for the collective, okay? And when I say projected and reflected, it's kind of like if you and I are having a conversation and there's an argument that comes up, I'm not going to let that stir me. You understand? Instead, I'm going to step back. I'm going to say, okay, what's actually going on? Is this actually here in this moment? Or is this you projecting something from your past and dubbing it over our present situation? Or are you mirroring something to me that's within myself that I need to see and realize, right? It's being mindful. It's being very mindful of the present moment and understanding it from a higher consciousness. It's hard to do. It's a practice. It's an actual practice, right? Because our knee-jerk reaction as humans is for the ego to be like, I want to get pissed off and I'm with you. It's us stepping away from that, okay? Then we have the trader really holding his heart space. So I'll hold it up and see that. Trader, energy to create abundance. Exchange the heartfelt, compassionate, empathetic energy, right? So there's the obstacle. There's the struggle. Putting the ego aside, putting the attachment, the old reaction to the old programming, to the old way of doing things aside and being like, well, hold up, buttercup. I'm actually going to choose to do this differently for myself. And in turn, it's going to benefit my reality. It's going to benefit my relationships. It's going to benefit my wealth, my health, my prosperity. Domino effect. Okay, nice. Okay, so bottom of the deck, we have Fire Guardian, ignite your passion. It's in reverse. This is a very creative energy. It tells me that part of the collective might be really struggling to pull themselves out of a rut, to pull themselves back into authentic self, right? Sitting in a lot of ego. It's a frustrated energy, right? And it's distorted masculine energy, okay? Because then we word underneath, which is also the Emperor, okay? Distorted masculine energy is not man. It's not male. It's not a men thing. We all have masculine and feminine energy. It's your creative energy. It's your energy where you bring things into the tangible. I want to make that very clear. I'm a naturally masculine energy. So for me to sit in my feminine, to get balanced and feminine, to be receptive and to connect to my soul and be more empathetic and compassionate, it's a practice. And so if you find yourself being someone who's a workaholic, someone who really likes to be in charge, who naturally takes on a leadership role, who likes to kind of control situations, who doesn't like to be told what to do, you're probably a masculine energy. Just saying. Okay. Let's continue. No, spellcasters. I hear you. This is my divine masculine and feminine deck, like my true pair deck, not in the sense of romance, in the sense of like masculine and feminine is a true pair. Emperor, Empress, it's a true pair. Typically, it has something to do with those two energies when I use this deck. So just be mindful of that. They're showing me the Knight of Wands also in my mind's eye, which is impulsiveness, eagerness. And I just heard scarcity mindset, okay? So this could be dealing with a lot of breaking away from the old thought process of not feeling worthy of success or security, stability. There's things of that nature going on. So if you're struggling with finances or just having very stable relationships or foundations in your life, you're probably realizing that a lot of that's being reflected back to you in dynamics with other people or situations around you. And you're realizing it's actually not internal, it's being reflected in your reality. So you become more aware of it, okay? Let's look at I saw geese, and I've never seen geese before in a channel, which is really weird. I actually feel, well, it makes sense. I was about to say calling on. I didn't want to say calling on, but I said calling on. I'm about to say it again. Okay, calling on protection guardian, but I really don't want to say that, but I can't help but say that. I was calling, freaking A. I was asking for clarification on the protection guardian, which makes a lot of sense because geese are super protective. They're actually very aggressive as well. Let's continue. I just keep hearing, but there's some, I keep hearing divinity with it though. Okay, 9 of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. Okay, so this is a claiming of independence. There's a sorrow with it though. There's a sorrow with it. There's a loneliness to this though. It's kind of like protecting. Okay, so this was masculine energy. There's a fear of asking for help. That's why there's a need to drop the shields with protection guardian here. There's a fear of asking for help. This is a sense of independence where like you get this sense of power from being independent, which is fine, There's a difference from healthy independence and then kind of self-sabotaging independence. I'm the queen of self-sabotaging independence. You can ask my mother, okay? You know, there's a difference between being healthy independent where you're thriving and you can support yourself and you have healthy dynamics with other people and you know how to be confident and independent in the sense of being self-sufficient and having a healthy routine and having a mental, emotional, and physical healthy state of being, right? And healthy dynamics with other people and healthy ways of communicating. And you're not codependent, you know, and you just completely balanced. But then there's this state of independence where you're choosing to be independent because there's fear of intimacy with other people. And so those shields, the protection goes up because the heart space doesn't want to be open. And so it's a choice to be by self in order to protect self. Right. Okay. So that's why there's the need to drop the shield, right? It's the need to recognize that. I feel that this is what some of you might be actually recognizing about self, that you might be identifying yourself as independent, but you're realizing the self-sabotaging of that independence with. It's the need to find the balance of what's healthy and what's self-sabotaging in that. Okay. And that's okay. So it's moving beyond the ancestral patterns. You might have learned this from childhood or from somebody in your environment growing up, or you might have just imprinted it within yourself. And that's perfectly fine. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just time to accept it and change it to create a healthy pattern. That's it. That's it. No judgment. No judgment. But it's creating a blocked heart space. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles in reverse. There's been avoidance in actually fixing this and working on it. There's been avoidance on it. And so Page of Cups in reverse, which is my card of vulnerability, which means you have a closed heart space. So beating my head against a rock here because this is getting pretty freaking redundant. Yeah. Page of Cups in reverse. It's a closed heart space, not being honest with yourself about what you're truly feeling. And it's just time to get to that place of acceptance. Okay, you know, I choose to be alone because I feel safer alone because I have more control of myself when I'm alone. And when I let people in, I don't have control of the other party involved. And so in turn, it makes me want to push them away because then I have control of myself again. And then I'm at less risk to get hurt, right? Listen, I wouldn't know how to articulate it if I didn't experience it myself. So I feel you. But being aware of it is the first step into addressing it. And then you address it and then you integrate it. And then you go through the healing process. And then you can be like, oh my gosh, I can freely talk about this and communicate it and share my knowledge and wisdom with people and my partner. And we can heal that aspect of ourselves and our relationship and etc. Domino effect. That's how you heal yourself. And it heals the collective. That's why it's unity consciousness. Boom, 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 boom. Air Guardian, shift your perception. I feel another energy coming in with this. Immediately feel like hands on shoulders with this. This actually feels very parental. It doesn't feel, it feels like a support system though. It doesn't feel harmful in any way. It just feels like a support system. This could even be you connecting with your higher consciousness state. I just actually heard yes, and they showed me the Hierophant. Tell me more about Air Guardian. Yeah, 3 of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles. So there's going to be, and that means a 6. 3 and 3 is 6. That means balance with the 3 of Pentacles. It's a collaboration energy. I'm curious what's on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, strength. So there's a sense of divinity. Underneath that is the 10 of Swords. Yeah, and underneath that is the 7 of Swords, which means that between the 10 and the 7 is the 3 of Swords that we have here. It's having the strength to overcome this pain that you've basically been ignoring and running away from. The 7 of Swords is the self-sabotaging behavior, okay? So you have the opportunity to work with Source, to work with higher consciousness energy, to work with the Air Guardian, air, thought, communication, intellect, higher consciousness, okay? To shift your perception into one where you can understand yourself on a deeper level. Beautiful. Wow. We're really digging into this stuff, aren't we? Okay, let's look at the Hermit. Wow, my music just decided to kick rocks, huh? Okay, well, toodaloo. Let's look. Clarified by the Hermit in reverse. Okay, so validation for me as a reader that the channel message is correct. Some of you might spend a little too much time, yeah, especially with the 4 of Swords on the bottom of the deck, a little too much time in Hermit mode. To me, this comes off as someone who's trying to overanalyze They just brought up the Patreon reading. Okay. This is what I talked about in the Patreon reading. This is literally it. Overanalyzing meditation, overanalyzing healing. There's different kinds of meditation, right? You can om all day, arms open all day. This is an open receptive energy. When you're sitting and you're meditating and you're open and you're receptive, this is an open channel. You have your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your soul, your sacral, and your root, right? You have your earth star, your stellar gateway. There's more chakras, right? But let's just talk about the main 7, right? Cool. So this is an open position. You're open to external energies. You're open to source, universe, spirit, whatever label you want to slap on it, slap it on. I don't care. You know, whatever floats your, I'm no judgment. But when you're doing the kind of healing that is the healing of self, maybe it's a good idea to connect with self. I know, mind blown, right? You're asking for guidance from source. And sometimes the easiest way to connect with your higher self, your authentic self, is hand on heart space, right? Hand on heart space. I used this deck during the Patreon reading because what was funny is I was talking about meditation and I was like, you can om all day. I said something like that. And then I was not really mocking it, just like joking about it. And have your hand on your heart space. And then the next card was the meditation card. It was definitely the Patreon reading I used this deck for. That's exactly what it was. Is the need to connect to the heart space. Yeah. And I was like, but you need to, when you have your hand on the heart space, because how many times do you meditate and you might struggle to truly get into a meditative state because you might be thinking about, okay, what message did I just receive? Instead of allowing yourself to just be a clean slate, to have no thought, to be at peace. Nothing. Silence. Right? When you put your hand on your heart space and you breathe, you probably only breathe through one nostril, which is going to tell you if you're more masculine, your right nostril, or if you're more feminine, breathing through your left nostril. And in turn, breathing through your nostrils, you're also going to realize if you're filling your belly or if you're filling your chest with air. Because belly breathing is a natural way of breathing. Think about a baby's breath. Their belly expands and then it contracts, right? Okay. A little breath lesson for you. And then you can do your alternate breathing to balance out your masculine and your feminine on top of that, right? So inhale, exhale. Cool. All that jazz. But with your hand on your heart space, you're going to connect with yourself. But the focus should be feeling your heart, feeling your physical body, feeling your emotions, not thinking about it. Just sit there. Focus on your breath. That's it. Just focus on your breath. Focus on your breath. That's it. Don't think about what you're receiving, any of that. Stop. There's too much thought going on. What should I be hearing? Who should I be listening to? Who's my guide? Is that my higher self? Is that my ego? Is that my intuition? None of that. Just be with you. There's too much of that going on because there's too much focus. There's too much thought because we have the swords here and then we have the Hermit in reverse. There's a lot of Virgo energy. Virgo's the analytical, overthinking. Then we have Libra, which is more air. You know what I'm saying? There's no emotion. So, okay, there's a disconnect. You need to reconnect yourself. Tell me more about the Hermit. Yeah, see now I feel the heart space. It's coming. Okay, 2 more shuffles. Moon in reverse, which is emotions, the feminine, the clarity. Let's get another. And the King of Swords and the 8 of Swords. Oh, are you thinking in your masculine energy a little too much? Analysis paralysis. 8 of Swords. King of Swords. Sitting there. What should I be thinking? What should I be receiving? Who's talking to me? What's coming my way? Stop it. Stop. Just stop. Stop. Just be present. Just be present. Just exist. I allow all thoughts to pass with ease. I allow myself to sit with myself and just breathe. Just breathe. And I'm grateful for this moment to be at peace in absolute nothingness. It's a practice. It is a practice. And then once you succeed in it, then you're going to get to then you're going to learn the practice of expanding consciousness. And then you're going to learn how to channel different states of consciousness. And in turn, you're going to learn how to tap into the collective consciousness. And then you're going to learn, okay, what's my higher self? How do I distinguish that from my ego? How do I get in touch with the collective? How do I get in touch with one particular individual? How do I get in touch with the pocket of the collective? How do I do timelines? It's a practice of expanding consciousness. But yeah, this is the overthinking. Analysis paralysis, 8 of Swords. There it is. Okay, let's look at the Traitor. Now this is the blocked heart space, right? So there's a need to be compassionate, to get in touch with oneself. The hand on the heart space. Just do me one little favor. Just put your hand on your chest. Love on your boobies a little bit. Just do it. Okay, this feels nice. That's all. Just a little rubber dub. That's all I ask. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Slowly, we're getting there. So 9 of Wands in reverse. We're giving up. We're done. We are worn out because we're just kind of like, I'm struggling to release the self-sabotaging behavior, right? There's a struggle with it. There's a struggle. 9 of Wands reverse. You're kind of getting tired of trying to figure out how to do it. But because you're getting tired of trying to figure out how to do it, you're done sabotaging yourself. Because what's sabotaging is the fact that you're trying to figure it out. Stop trying to figure it out. Just let it be. It's organically going to happen. Because in divine time, you're going to integrate that aspect of yourself because you already know what the behavior is. You already know what it is. The need to overanalyze things. It's time to just accept. Just accept that, okay, I might not get this apology from this person. I can't be attached to that. I can't force them to apologize to me. As much as I might want that apology, I might not get it. I can't force those words to come out of that person's mouth. And I just need to accept that. Because I know my worth. And I know what I'm capable of. And I know that I'm strong. And I know that everything's still going to be fine, regardless of me getting that apology or not. And, I'm not attached to that job. I'm not attached to getting that particular house. I'm not attached to getting that particular person as my partner. I'm not attached to getting that particular puppy or that particular handbag or that particular set of tips on my nails. I'm not attached to getting my hair dyed that color. I'm not attached to picking out those 5 thongs from Victoria's Secret for that discounted price. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Because what's meant for me is always going to find me. It's a state of acceptance. It's a state of acceptance and gratitude for what's right here in this present moment in front of you, regardless of what it is in front of you. If it's uncomfortable, it's pushing you to a mode of change and transformation that's going to help you evolve. Okay? Because you're not going to be given any challenge you can't accept, that you can't overcome. Because this challenge that you're faced with right now is pushing you towards an Ace of Pentacles. It's pushing you towards something that's very stable, very grounded. It's a new beginning for you, but you don't see it, right? Because there's healing that needs to be taken care of in divine right time. The Star. Okay. So let's look at Fire Guardian. This is some deep healing though. This is massive shadow integration, which makes a lot of sense because the entire collective has been going through a dark night of the soul together, probably through like April, May, June. Yeah, June, April to end of June, July. So about months. April through June, July for some people. 3 or 4 months for most of the collective was like kind of like a massive dark night of the soul. So just be patient with yourself. Because whatever came up during that time, this time, is still kind of like lingering on its way out. And it's just kind of like we're processing. Just allow yourself to go through it. Let's look at Fire Guardian. I'll take them. I'll take them. They want me to take them. I'll take them. I'll leave them. The Emperor. There's your balanced masculine energy. So it's going to happen. Fire Guardian, though, is like this impatience of like, I want to create. I want to create now. And I want it now in this form. And it's like this, it's this anxious, and it feels imbalanced. It does. Because underneath it, you have this distorted masculine energy. There's this anxiousness of, I want to create. I want to move forward. I want things to happen. And it's this impatience about it. You're going to get there. It's going to happen in divine right time, though, right? Yeah, there's the impatience. The Page of Wands in reverse. It's this little childlike, like antsiness about it. Like, I need to do it, and I need to do it now, and I want it right now. So where is it? Why isn't it happening for me? The Chariot. Yeah, there's the divine timing. Ace of Cups, the self-love. The Five of Cups is the mourning of the old, and then the Fool. Okay, yeah. So here's it's kind of like the upset. So we're still mourning, but we know this new cycle's coming. So we have the Chariot and the Ace of Cups. Things are going to move forward into a new cycle when you get to this place of acceptance within self, when you practice a lot of self-care. You need to do the healing. You need to do the healing. It's the dirty water theory. If you've been with me since I started my channel, I talked about the dirty water theory like it was my life when I started. So if you're this cup of water, you're filled to the top of dirty water, you got no room for the clean shit. You got no room for the new cycle. You don't. You got dirty water. You got to pour out the Eight of Swords, the Three of Swords, the Ten of Swords, all the crap that's stopping you from having this new cycle, because you're tapped out. There's no more room in the physical vessel. As human beings, we only have so much room for so much energy, just like anything else. It can only hold so much energy. Your car can only hold so much crap. Your body can only hold so much energy. This cup can only hold so much water. Everything has its limit. So you've reached your limit. That's it. You can't move on to this new cycle until you pour out the dirty water, until you transmute whatever emotional baggage or mental, physical, spiritual stuff is blocking you from welcoming in the new cycle. So you need to mourn it. You need to pour it out. Look, he's pouring out the dirty water. It's a shame he's wasting all that nice little wine, but he is pouring it out because it's probably rotten or poisoned or something. Get rid of it. You got two other cups you can still drink, whether it's box wine or it's top shelf. Who knows? But you can still drink it. Okay? And then you get your new beginning. But you have to get rid of the things that are no longer serving you, that are old, that are just not meant to stay. You need to be accepting of that and release it. Okay, my dears? Let's get some last little bits of advice and close this bad boy out. Do I want to use, they really want me to buy this Oracle of the Fairies deck, and I've been hearing it for months, and I'm not a fairy person. Like, that's just not my vibe. They did the same thing in the Patreon reading, so I guess we should have been channeling some fairies. Actually, I do have mystical. I guess I can use mystical wisdom. Mystical wisdom is like my deck. I really don't use it often especially for the collective. It's literally like my personal deck. It's like my special little something for me. But it's probably the closest thing to a fairy oracle. Yeah, this is the one they wanted. I felt it. Okay. What does the collective most need to see? Any final advice for the collective? Any final advice for the collective? Yeah, okay. Oh, Atlanta. So we have children and choices. That's funny. Bottom of the deck is Battle of the Blues. Take steps towards positive change is your ending overall energy. So that makes a lot of sense. Then we have choices. Make the best choices. And children. Know that your children are protected. This could be inner child. This could also be you needing to transmute things that you've learned in childhood, right? In order to make these changes. But like I said, I feel like a lot of the collective is kind of stuck in this rut, needing to pull themselves out of it. So just be mindful of what that rut is for you, and be honest with yourself. I personally like to do a lot of journaling because I'll have these sudden realizations and I'll just be like, oh, damn, Jordyn, it was you. And I'll type it into my phone and my notes, and then I'll have to go home and I'll type the whole journal about it in a Word document on my computer or in the actual notes app if you have notes. It's really cool. I personally like that one the best. because handwriting, my brain will move way too fast for my hands sometimes. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. But choices, make the best choices in children. This is the need to truly choose what aspects of yourself you want to release and what you want to hold on to, right? In order to create this new version of self before you step into this new cycle. What water do you want to pour out? What water do you want to keep in your vessel? Because not all of it has to be poured out. You know what I'm saying? You can still hold on to it. And some of it can be transformed into lemonade. Okay. Okay. But this is what I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you want to check out Patreon to get some more goodies like this, go ahead, check it out. But I love you and I wish you the best. It feels good to be back. I'll be doing some other readings. Might be collecting zodiac sign readings. Might be pick a card reading. I really don't know. I'm kind of just going with the flow. So I love you and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.